Dear parents, make a list of all the things you feel will be impossible in your kid and work towards it. I'm sure you will be going to say nothing is impossible. If you believe nothing is impossible, list things or issues your kid has difficulty in and list what all you did for your kid for the same issue for last 3 months. List what all you made possible for the child. If you can list all the changes you brought in last 3 months, discuss with the expert about next step and how rapidly it can be achieved or how rapidly we can reduce the age gap in the development. If you are stuck at a step for more than 3 months, we are losing time. So raise the alarm. Don't sit and wait that it will naturally get recovered, but we really need to do something for it. Accept autism. Correct, but don't accept the disability. Work towards enabling the same. Understand and re-understand the issue differently and work towards it. Only when a single way doesn't work, we try to change the way in a better fashion. It's true that you know best for your kid, but it's equally true that you don't know what is best for the others' kids or other autism kids. Parenting an autism kid since ages does not make you an expert for others' kids unless you get thorough details about thousands of cases. So unless you are expert, don't start teaching other parents. You may be giving some information halfway, which is true only for your kid. It's not a routine parenting issue in autism. Don't give up your desire to learn and keep on doing something new every day. It's true that home therapy is needed, but don't make your house a therapy center with various toys and activities. By keeping the child's world continuously with the toys and activities, we are not letting the child grow beyond the toys and activities. Therapy should be in its time, in its discipline, and not throughout the 24 hours. 24 hours of the child, or maybe whatever working hours of the child beyond therapy hours when the parents are with them, it should be totally meant for home-based therapy, and that should be decided by the goals of socialization, communication, by mixing with the child with various human face-to-face communication, language, and action-based interaction. Home therapy in true sense will mean practicing tricks with home-based day-to-day objects and acts and not just toys and objects. If you feel you have learned all tricks of the occupational therapy and you can teach occupational therapy to any kid with autism or take care of your kid for years, you are wrong. It just means that you do not know the next step, what next to be taught in the occupational therapy in the sequence for the next level of logical development. Sometimes it is good to accept we are wrong, then only we can see the ray of hope. When we work with medicines and therapy, we develop connections and cross connections in the processing centers, which slowly extends the level of communication in the form of development in various domains of understanding, including knowledge, non-verbal communication, behavior, emotions, socialization, interactive games, and talking and writing skills apart from the physical development. Leaving things halfway will develop connections halfway, and loose connections always die, often with a spark. Development is decided by connections, speed is decided by mileage. At least keep a minimum goal of readiness for the primary school admission over 2 years phase. Then divide them into steps. Later the age of intervention or medicines, harder will be the recovery or development of the milestones, as neuroplasticity is more in early years than the late years. Work towards reducing severity of level. A child who can take mainstream schooling, the primary usually is dependent and can be educated and trained to take care of the family responsibility when he or she grows up. Remember, everyone has limits, even God had limits. We all are attempting to look beyond the pursued limit and find a higher achievable limit in the best interest of the child. When we walk towards horizon attempting to touch the limit too moves ahead and giving us hopes to improve further every month. I want all parents to understand when we are looking for improvement what all changes we may look for. A keen parent would like to note down minor details about every change on weekly basis rather than saying some no improvement. Other parents may have similar ideas, but if you do not note down the details, it's not easy to compare the improvement across the timeline. See the monitoring chart given at the website neuropediatrician.com for getting a serious idea of objective change. The improvement can be minor when we expect changes every week. It is always better to note down. Try to list all the changes as per gains since last visit and goals till next visit instead of using the words positivity and negativity. Also, you have headings to note down the changes in the form of activities of living, activities of household skills, gross and fine motor things, activities of communication, activities of interaction, language concepts, academics, pre-math concepts, story concepts, abstract concepts. As I told you, most of the communication is based by socialization, being with people, looking at people, understanding people. Most of the activities which you are giving to the child should be with the people, around the people, with lots of language communication, and most importantly, listening skills. Half-hearted efforts will give incomplete response. More so in a situation where world says nothing can be done in the autism except exercises and therapies. Exercises only affect the input, they only change the environment, but has no major role in processing the connection in the brain. In autism, the issue is about sensing the environment. Issue is about developing the cognition. Issue is about processing the inputs. By only changing the inputs to diversity and variety, we are only giving a modified input or a modified environmental response, which has minimal effect on internal sensory integration, internal development of the brain, or maybe internal processing of the child's input to develop cognition. So it's very important that we need to really think holistically for improving the sensory input system, that is external sensory integration, sensory processing system, that is internal sensory integration, improving the sensory speed, that is action response, and giving a more executional, productive output by developing coordination between various systems of sense processing and action.